Alright, this week we're going to be working on integers. So in your composition book, remember everything I write in my composition book you need to be writing in yours. In your composition book we're going to do page 18 and you're just going to title this integers. Integers. So let's go ahead and turn to page 18 in our composition book. Alright, I'm going to go ahead, head this as 18. Put on the top, integers. In this unit, we're going to be working on two standards. We're going to be working on understanding that positive and negative numbers are used to describe quantities having opposite directions or values. You're going to be able to use positive and negative numbers to represent quantities in real-world contexts, explaining the meaning of zero in each situation. Also, we're going to be working this week on opposites, understanding such as that negative 3 is the opposite of 3. So let's go ahead and get started with this knowledge. The first thing I want to go into is what is an integer. So I'm going to go ahead here, integer. Oh, there we go. And the definition of an integer is any whole number positive or negative. So an integer is any whole number, positive or negative. So let's look at integers on a number line. So go ahead, let's draw ourselves a number line and go from here all the way to here. I'm going to let this middle part be 0. Alright, so here I'm going to have 5, 10, negative 5, negative 10. I'm going to put 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is nowhere near perfect. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, let me clean this part up right here. That's really messy. I don't like that at all. There's a little bit better. All right, so here, each one of these represents 1. So this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is 0, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, negative 5, negative 6, negative 7, negative 8, negative 9, and negative 10. So these are all integers. A negative number, well, first off, let's define a positive number. Positive number. Positive number is any number greater than 0 or above. Any number 0 or greater. On a number line, it's any number that is 0 or to the right of 0. Those are your positive numbers. Negative number. Negative number. Any number less than 0. So that's negative 1 and below. Now, one weird thing about negative numbers is they actually get smaller as they get bigger. Here's what I mean. Their value becomes less as they get bigger. Whereas positive numbers, their value gets greater as they get bigger. So, for example, think of it this way. Is it better to owe a friend $5 or is it better to owe a friend $10? So as you get a bigger negative number, it's actually of less value than a smaller negative number. So let's go ahead and let's look at some comparing numbers real quick. So which number, we're going to go ahead, use the inequality symbols. We're going to use the inequality symbols to describe relationships between different numbers. So let's say we have 3 and negative 5. Which number is bigger? Well, since 3 is a positive number, it is naturally bigger. So positive numbers are bigger than negative numbers, or have greater value than negative numbers. All right, let's look at negative 7 and negative 12. If this was positive, these were positive numbers, that'd be one thing. But since these are both negative, the one that has the smaller digit is actually the larger number here. So negative 7 would be greater than negative 12. Remember, any number to the right is a bigger number than any number to the left. So for example, here we have negative 10. It is to the left of negative 5, so it is smaller than negative 5. Every number going to the right, it gets bigger as you go to the right. All right, so now let's look at some situations where we're trying to describe situations using negative numbers. So for example, you climb 5,000 feet up a mountain. All right? So, first thing, let's describe this situation. You're climbing, so is that going up or down? Since we're climbing and we're going up, that means this is a positive integer. Going up is positive. So the integer to represent climbing 5,000 feet would be 5,000. All right. How about you're in a submarine? In a submarine, and you dive 2,000 feet. What integer would we use to describe this situation? Well, we're going down, so the integer that we would use to describe this situation is negative 2,000, because we're going down 2,000 feet. So, let's look at describing where 0 would be. Because there's a couple situations that you would need to identify what 0 would be in those situations. So, let's say you're flying in a plane. Flying in a plane. At 5,000 feet. Or no, not 5,000, that'd be way up there. Let's say we're flying at, let's say, an altitude of 3,000 feet. Okay? So, let's say you go up, climb 200 more feet. Well, that would be positive 200. Let's say you descend 400 feet. That would be negative 400. Now, what if this question were to ask you, what in both of these situations, this isn't you climbed, then you descended. Let's say you were at 3,000, then you climbed 200. All right? So that'd be represented by 200. Now let's go back to the original one. Let's say you're flying at 3,000 and you descended 400. That means you're negative 400. Both of these, the 0 would be where you started off, at 3,000 feet. So you have to be able to identify where 0 is in those situations. All right. So let's go ahead. Let's flip our paper. Make sure I had that all. Yeah, it should have been. And there you go. If you missed any notes, there they are. All right, let's go ahead and flip our paper. Let's talk about opposites for a second. Opposites. They are numbers that are the same distance from 0. What do I mean by that? So let's go ahead, let's whip out a handy dandy number line. Here's 0. And let's say 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so that's -1, -2, -3, -4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 and -4 are opposites because they are both 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces from 0. Let's see that here. 1, 2, 3, 4. They are both 4 from 0, so they are opposites. If you want to look at it at a easy way to understand, opposites share the same digit, just one is negative and the other is positive. That's what makes them opposite. They both share a digit of 4, but this one's negative, that one's positive, so that makes them opposites. And that's it for what we are covering this week. Make sure to get all these notes. At the end of the video, there will be some questions to see if you understand the content.